Hey everybody, I'm David with Bolivar Live, and once again I'm here with Dan Priest with Priest Insurance, where every week we talk insurance. Sometimes we talk fishing. We were talking about shrimp earlier. Tell us about the shrimp you got.
Fresh. Yeah,
fresh
right
shrimp.
Off the boat, fresh shrimp. They picked them up yesterday, and some friends and I got a couple 100 pounds, and a few people picked up and picked through them with us, and some people got 50, some people got 25, but they were absolutely beautiful.
What was the count? Because you said the count was spot on.
They were what's called a 22-25 head-on count, which means there's 22 to 25 head-on shrimp per pound, and they counted 22 and 1. So they were a really big shrimp within that count. So they were
That's
perfect.
like a two-biter.
It's like
almost.
a two-biter, right?
You know, Chris works at Milts, and so we get shrimp, and she'll say, and we've got a deal.
That's where I got them, yeah.
We've got a deal that by the end of July, middle of July, our deep freeze is empty. In case there's a storm or anything. One storm, I had to give away a whole bunch of shrimp, and I swore I'd never do that again. So we're starting to dwindle down our shrimp, but every once in a while she'll say, man, the boat brought in these big shrimp, and I'll look at them, and they'll look like prawns almost, and those are definitely not one, they go on the grill when they're that big.
I know. I remember the July 15th opening, and boy, are we off subject. The July 15th opening, you know, the shrimp boats are out, and they come back in. A lot of the bay boats go to the Gulf, and they come back, and they've got sometimes the great big, I mean, literally that long shrimp, and that's a fun day.
That's a feast.
Yeah, we all get around and head them and put them on the grill and eat and have fun.
But let's talk real quick flood.
Switch.
Because because we were off topic there, and trust me, you don't have a clue what we talk about before we start. But let's talk about flood. You said some things are changing.
Yeah, well, they're not really changing. It's just time to talk about flood insurance. So, you know, we spend time talking about windstorm and, you know, things like ICC coverage and deductibles and how you can modify your coverage a little bit. We talk about the hazards and the different occupancies for homeowners policies, and which you got to have the right one. We don't spend a lot of time on flood.
We're in a flood.
We're in a flood zone.
In fact, got a notice this morning because of the winds, elevated tides.
Oh yeah.
Some lower areas may see some flooding.
Right. So down here we have V&A zones, and a few years ago there were big discrepancies in premium between V&A zones, and that has kind of leveled out a little bit with the new flood maps.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, the new rating systems. There's not really a discrepancy in those rates too much anymore. However, the FEMA flood policy limits the coverage you have on a dwelling. So, for example, you can't go over $250,000 on the dwelling, and many houses around here have more value than that, or $100,000 on contents. For a lot of beach homes, that's adequate on the contents. But so there are other markets that are out there that provide coverage for
over and above
excess flood, and which we can talk to you about and do premiums and do compilations for. There are also some private carriers. I'm not a huge fan of private carriers, but some places that's the only place that you can get insurance, such as a Cobra Zone. Sometimes the private flood premium is actually less than the FEMA subsidized rate.
Really?
Sometimes.
So when people are coming in for flood insurance, do y'all shop everything?
Yeah, we'll there are several different companies that do that, and so it kind of populates for us in which different markets it looks the best. We do, for the most part, steer to FEMA when we can. I know that's kind of a crazy thing, but having the federal government backing a catastrophic claims payment makes me feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
Rather than a private company, but we do offer those. Some people prefer that, and we're not going to, you know, just say
deter.
No. Yeah, we're looking at, when we do private, we're looking for A or better rated companies, people that have financial stability, and moving on. And some of those private companies you don't need excess for because they don't have a $250,000 limit. They may go.
If it's not FEMA, if it's a private company,
they don't have that cap.
They don't have that cap, and so you can get everything all in one place.
If you wish.
Well, we say this every show. Now's the time to go over your insurance. It's the 1st of April. or April. Before we know it, we'll be at June 1st, and we all know what happens then. The weather has sort of changed. You know, we had tornadoes at Christmas time, and we had a beautiful spring break, beautiful beach. But you never know when something's going to pop up.
Yeah.
And so now's the time to look at your insurance. Even if you're mid-policy, now's the time to look at it and make sure you've got the coverage you need.
we just actually had a guy that reached out yesterday or the day before that had seen one of the videos, and we're taking a look at some of his stuff. And what's going on with his is he had some huge discrepancies on his coverage. And you know, we did a replacement cost estimator and kind of talked to him a little bit, and come to find out we can help him on parts of that, and parts of it he's better off staying where he is for now. So that's how that goes, and so we do that. We do that all the time.
And I know you did it with me. You said, David, I can help you here, but you're better off staying where you are. And that's Priest Insurance. They're looking out for their customer. You know, when Dan tells me something, I listen to him because I'm not an insurance agent. Don't want to be an insurance agent. Don't like to read all the policies that much. I trust what they say. And so please, if you have a question, maybe you just want to have a glance at your policy.
Yeah.
Like Dan said, they were able to work with him and probably save him some money down the road on some of it, but not all of it. And they can do that for you. At least let them look at it. So, and the best way to get hold of you?
Pick up the phone and call 755-7600. We're on Facebook. Send us a message, or at priestinsuranceagency.com.
That's right, and that's 409 area code.
It is 409.
409 area code. So, well, we're going to head on out. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you learned a little bit about flood insurance and how Priest Insurance can help you. Until next time, I'm David with Bolivar Live. Y'all have a great day, great week. Come see us. God bless, and bye-bye.
Video equipment is sponsored by Crystal Beach Decor and More, located at 1959 Highway 87 in Crystal Beach, Texas, and Beachy Beatnik Boutique and Jewelry, located at 970 Surfside and Highway 87 in Crystal Beach, Texas. Thank you to these two businesses for being our 2025 video equipment sponsor for Bolivar Live.